Wilson Morales from Black Women TV. Hello, folks. How's it going?
Hey,
We're
good, thank
good,
you.
thank you.
You got to start off cheerful because when you watch a series like this, it's so dreary and depressing. You're like, where are we going with this? You see, now you're laughing. So then my first question
Yes.
is go. So obviously, you guys have done your share of work, whether it be on the big screen or small screen. What went to saying, yes, I'll take on this project? Miranda?
I was fascinated by the idea of playing a female cult leader. That doesn't come along every day. There haven't been many real female cult leaders. So to see a fictional one was really fascinating to me, and just the way that she worked with the mother-child relationship and the manipulations that she uses within that were kind of horrific, but like fascinating to play as an actor.
Teresa?
It was a script for me. I read it, and oftentimes I get distracted when I'm reading a script. I have so many children at my house, so I'm always getting interrupted. But this one, I locked the door. I read it through in one sitting, and I was completely riveted by this world. Like Miranda, I'm fascinated by cults, and the characters were so rich and nuanced, and in my character, she was both vulnerable and brave, and ultimately was this redemption story. And I just thought all the little pieces were there for me to jump on board and just be so excited. And, I'm completely thrilled with the final product.
Now, it's based on the script. Both of you've read the script. You said yes. Did you cheat and read the book to see where it ends?
No, because I felt like the book I knew was going to be slightly different, that had been removed. When you're making a TV show, you kind of hit different marks, and some things can work in a book that in a TV show you have to change it to make it work. So no, the story is so complicated and layered. I felt like if I read the book, I'd get confused.
I'm the same.
Really?
I didn't read the book either, because of that very same thing. And you don't want to be swayed by the book in any way, and they go to the writers and be like, but wait, in the book it said this and we're playing it this way, which way should I play it? So we just sort of stayed true to the script.
Now, you said you're fascinated by cults. What is it fascinating? It's like, it's individuals, they get caught up in these mind games, and they don't know how to get out. At least that's the way I see it. There's obviously different interpretations to it. What's your interpretation of a cult or so forth?
I'm fascinated because people always look at it from the outside and say, well, I would never do that. How would somebody do that? But I'm fascinated by the process, because it's actually, somebody coming in and helping you find a path through life. People, I think, get confused by the moral complexity of life and how is the way to live my life and why am I not feeling fulfilled? And somebody comes along with those kind of answers and, says all you have to do is, relinquish yourself in some way and be guided by me. And, and often where things start to where they end up are so extreme. And so I'm fascinated by how people go on that journey and then how they recover at the other end, like how you decult, I guess, is a way of putting it.
And the other fascinating thing, I think, too, and we've discussed this before, is it's not just reserved for the vulnerable or the down and out. It's really anyone who's like seeking to like get to know themselves more or do spiritual work. And so it always starts out with such pure intentions, and then the downward spiral is so wild. So I think maybe the reason people are very interested in these stories is that we can all see ourselves in the people who have been sucked into these cults. I certainly can myself. Like, I understand it. I get why.
Now, you mentioned redemption, but Miranda, your character, obviously, good thing about it is this is a weekly series, so we don't know. We can't see it all at once. Is there any humanity to the character you're playing?
Well, she's a real, she's a person. So there is humanity in that, I guess. But I definitely think that, she is missing something as a person. Like, she's missing a basic empathy. And a part of this world that she's creating is to try to feel some of the emotions that she's unable to feel.
Mhm. You've done your share of projects, but whenever you do a series or a film, you can never stop learning because you're working with different people. What did you get out of this series, skill set wise, that, whether you move on to another project or another series that you've picked up from this particular series? Is there anything new that you're still learning?
Oh,
That's a great
gosh.
question.
Always learning.
Yeah.
Always learning.
I loved watching Miranda. I loved it. I loved being in scenes with her. I've always been a fan of Miranda's work, but I loved, she was every take was different. Every take was different. She always was willing to go there and try something left of center. And I felt like you were really brave and just so present. And I sometimes can rest on my laurels. I can sometimes rest on, the way I think a scene can be played. And you were just so present. So that was just a great reminder for me. Be present, like leave everything behind and just be present in the moment and listen to your actor in the scene and react accordingly. I loved that. So I feel like there was a little gem that I took with me.
Oh,
yeah. I was going to say, it's a family affair. Obviously, your sister's involved. Is that the first time you guys worked together, or is it something like, it's a project we can do now?
Yeah, this is the first time we worked together, and we both came to it individually, actually. Like, they came to me to play it, and then I heard they were actually going out to Gracie, so it wasn't kind of a matter of us, like, working it out between us. It kind of just happened kind of organically. But it was great. It was so great I'm so proud of her and everything that she's doing, and it was great to have the chance to actually work with her. And, we got together a lot on weekends, and she would talk about what she wanted to do. And considering we had so much to do in the time, it was like a shorthand that we had, which was really lovely.
And it was so nice to be a little fly on the wall. Being able to watch their dynamic, be like, oh my gosh, this is amazing. I hope you work together so much more in the future.
I hope so too. Yeah.
The title is such a broad word, and we're in a situation where there's a glut of programs on, whether it's streaming, cable, network, whether you choose to go to the theaters. What's going to get an audience to watch this? Because it doesn't matter whether it's streaming all at once or weekly, you still got to get an audience to watch it. What's going to be the sell to watching the series about this particular, for those who have not read the book or don't know anything about it?
Well, I think it's a very fast-paced psychological thriller. And a lot of the times you see with these shows that they have their built-in audience and then it just spreads like wildfire. It's word of mouth. And we like to think that fingers crossed, that's what's going to happen with our show, because there are so many twists and so many moments that will have an audience hooked with this show that we hope that people just talk about it and share the reasons why they love it and why they're riveted by it. And the response we've had so far has been nothing but positive.
Yeah.
So much excitement and enthusiasm. Is there anything you have to add to that?
I think, people are really fascinated by cults and the inner workings of them. But at the end of the day, this is a redemptive story, and it is about being able to overcome your past and to create your life.
Mm-hmm. Congrats on the roles. Congrats on the series. Let's hope, because it's a weekly series, people will talk about it to say, oh, did you watch what happens? And then they can tune in week after week.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you so much. Have a great day.